G'day everyone, welcome to the Opalmills channel. Today I'm going to be getting on with some more of this parcel, and I'm hoping by this Saturday, as today pretty sure is Thursday, and yeah, get onto a live. Again, don't quote me, but I think I've jumped all the hurdles I need to, and we'll try and hopefully not fail to get a live stream on the way. That'll be Saturday morning Adelaide time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can do it. I'm not technologically advantageous myself, so I think I figured out the way. It's not the way I thought, but if I can repeat what I did, I can get it happening. Fingers crossed anyway. So, on with this one. I've decided I'm going to start on this one. It's got a few issues through it, with some shattering on the inside internally. There is a piece just in here somewhere. Get it to shine up. You can see that crack under there, the way that light shines there. It's an internal floor fracture. It goes from about here to here. So that bit of stone's no good as such, but might be able to salvage what's around it and get a piece out of here, because there is more fractures up here. But we'll see what we can do about working around that. So I will go to the saw, but I'm gonna map out the cracks again with a pencil, and that way we can see where we want to cut, usually through the cracks. It's the best practice. That way you sort of salvage everything, and well, the crack has to go anyway. It's kind of the smart move. So hopefully this isn't too shattered up in unforeseen ways, and what I can see, sorry, I'm just looking through the light of the camera, and what I can see is pretty much all there is. So it shatters under there, crack through there, one through there, oops, you can't see, sorry, one through there, there, there's where are you? Trying to get it to shine up. Right when you want it to, it won't. I can see it. It's there. I think it stops. Yeah, it pretty much goes to this edge too. So it's sort of around there, unfortunately. But might be able to get some stone out of here and over here. I have to check the cracks for the rest of it. So I'll go and map some of this out and come back and show you what I've done. Okay, here's the plan of attack. There's our map of the battlefield. Here's a really nice opal in here. If I can get it a little bit longer, I will. I don't want to waste as much as I can. But we have a fracture here, here, here. So there's that one, that one. So this section's no good, basically. It's good for a saw blade to sneak through. Might as well go through that. Under these patches, they're mud underneath. You can see that one through there, through the surface. There's also a crack running there. So that's a bit of a spot to avoid. Crack running there, there. So this is a questionable section. We're not sure what will happen yet till it's cleaned up more, but this is underneath. So there's more bar under all that, and we'll see what we can do, but clearly the mud's going to beat us on those spots. But this here may come good around in here. So we'll see what we can do. A little stone on the end here. This is the section that's got the shatter in it. It's like a layer down. Yeah, I think we've seen it. It's in there, but hard to pick up. There you go, sort of down reflection. You can sort of see it in here. It fans out up to here. Anyway, bit of a chip and a crack there. Hopefully this bit's reasonable. Not sure if that's a crack running over that way. So that's another thing I didn't quite check on the sides. So you can see that crack, but yeah, right. There goes the base of that corner. It's gonna have to be brought in at least to here. Draw a new line somewhere. Anyway, we'll see what happens under all this. Here's our main stain. She's gonna look gorgeous. As long as she holds up and there's no hidden surprises that I haven't seen in there. Pretty sure she's pretty sound. And yeah, it gets a bit thin this end, that was all. That's why I drew this short, but it's gonna get cut and then whatever there is, I'll shape. All right, over to the saw. She broke up on me as I was cutting it. And there was some sideways action with the cracks. I'm hoping this piece has come out unscathed. Sorry, bumping the camera. Has come out unscathed and avoided most of it. I'm really hoping, because the rest of this broke apart. So there's not much I can do about that. We'll see what we can salvage anyway. Alright, so I jigsawed our piece back together a bit. I'll just show you how it crumbled. So this first slice went straight through here. That came off of that side, but then this had a split through it that way. It didn't want to stay together. Should be able to get something out of it, maybe. I'm not sure about this bit. There's a few too many cracks. If that stays together now, what's left, should be able to get something out of it. So fingers crossed. This piece, same thing. Have a split running through it. So it's thick enough, I think, taken off a bit here anyway. To still work this piece, so long as no more peels apart, we should be good. Should. See what happens. Still a question mark on that one. And that's rubbish. That's probably rubbish. So there's those two bits. And this piece, yeah, same thing. Didn't like being together. Thinking doublets. Fantastic colour, no more breakage. So that'll be in the doublet pile. And this one, stayed together, I'm thinking, quite well. It does have a bit more of a split that runs down through there. That leaves the side thick enough. Oh, don't duck up. Where does it go? Goes in a bit through here. But that's not supposed to be on anyway because there was a crack running and I knew that. So hopefully should get something decent. Main focus is this one, so we'll take them all over. We'll watch this one, but I'll get them all done. Onto the wheel. Okay, so we're over at the flat lap. This is my vertical flat lap GSP8 from Gem Master. Get them through gem cuts. But someone's asked sort of to show how this works. I assume by comparison for the other wheels. For starters, the wheels, your other wheels that rotate at you, rotate in a downward motion. This spins this way, and so if you're over here, it's spinning down. You got to kind of watch your knuckles. But over here, it spins up. Now I prefer it to turn up as I turn into the wheel rather than the other way around. That's just a preference. I learnt to cut on the right side, being right-handed. Left-handed, you'd be over here. Maybe rewire the motor if you want it to run the other way. You just got clockwise and counterclockwise, switch of the wires. Ask an electrician if you're not sure. So I've learnt on a vertical flat that you used to have to dip your own water. This is a luxury, people. And the wheels are much better because we used to have to re-glue on some paper, and once that wore out pretty quick, you'd have to peel it off, some acetone, and re-glue it, contact glue. So these are brilliant, and I get all that face, which is quite a fair bit. You use your wheels are only about maybe 2 inches, which is about that. So if we go 2 inches, it's only about, from the tip of my finger down to the base of this knuckle, which is only about that much of the wheel. And I get a little bit wider, but I also get even wider if I just duck down below the center here. I now have all this. Some of this is grinding that way, some of it's grinding that way, but I've got all this face down here, big huge area. And then again on the side, if I choose to put it up here, I've got all this as a face. And it's not rounding, so it's not concaving into my stone if I happen to leave it there too long, not that I do. Common mistake for people who are just a bit unsure and starting out though. So this leaves it flat, and you want it to touch, as you're creating rounds, you're going to be creating a surface that only pinpoint touches, if you know what I mean. So kind of like if you had something round and you put something flat up against it, it's only touching that little tiny bit at a time. And you don't want it to be a rounded bit at that. Well, I don't. So if it's only going to be touching a little bit of the pad at a time, I'd rather it be a nice flat pad, and then I can rotate and cause what I want to do without having to worry about some concave. That's my preference. I'm not advocating. You do however you want, but these are the benefits for this wheel anyway for me. And so as the wheel spins that way, I turn into the wheel. If you're grinding away stuff, there's a 150 pad down here I'd put on and use the whole face. Turning with a stick, you're sort of limited to this part of the wheel for length. But yeah, brilliant wheel. You just cut as usual. As far as turning the stick and the same cutting motions, but yeah, it's just a flat surface. I use magnification. I don't just stand back, and I don't slop heaps of water. I want it to wash away enough, and I want to keep the pad wet just enough to not cause any dust build up. That way you know you've eliminated the dust problem. Enough water to keep the pad lubricated, and enough water to keep the stone cold. Other than that, you're using too much and making a mess, which I don't like cleaning up. So I just get the drizzle running properly. Now over here, that's why I have to pause sometimes to turn the water pressure up at the mains. because I'll leave this tap fully on and plug in the hose and just have it as a trickle coming out the tap, because if you have that on and lock this off, this can end up giving way and leaking. So I prefer not to run that risk. So I'll just set up over here and about, we'll come in about that far, get a good look. So that's yeah, how you're viewing it from that position. And I'll work over here in view, hopefully. There we go. And yeah, I'll get on with it. I'll go get the water on. Okay, so I just got to watch this bottom here. Can't get that out, but that's going to break off. It's going to thin out a bit. Not sure if it's just that break there. We'll tidy these bits up first, and then we'll get to the main stone. Just take this ring off. Well, the water's running just enough to get the wheel wet, but not to splash too much. It's still thick enough. Probably suited for that thickness of a bit smaller stones, but we'll see what we can come of it. Nasty sand. Yeah, not a bad start. A couple of little odd shaped stones. Cloud hopefully clear up a little bit as I take it down on the stick. Little triangular one. Whee. Some of it just, yeah, broke up a bit more. So just gotta be very careful how I go about cutting it. Should be thick enough to hold together. Yeah, it may have to come in though. We'll see what happens. I'd like to make a nice little oval out of it actually. See what happens. See what happens. Yeah. Odd shape ones. Not too bad, a little oval. It's a bit thin down this end, but sits thick enough with a little bit of grey over the top, hopefully still to come off. Reveal more of that lovely colour. Not sure about that end though. That one's alright. Not sure about that end though. That one's trouble. No. Hopefully this stays together. Has this in it. I may Dremel tidy that up, but I've got to be very careful. If I can get a whole stone out of it, so be it, but it does want to break up further, unfortunately, like that. Oops. So there's another split there. I don't know if this is going to come apart, especially when I stick it at stick. Last thing I want it to do is keep breaking up, but I'm pretty sure it'll all stay under the colour line, and I can taper the bottom to hopefully deal with that. I don't like that bit there though. Looks like it wants to break in. Hopefully that only goes in as far as it signifies there. That little white line. So this may get shrunk a little bit, but we'll do our best. I'll dop these up and get them cut. Okay, as you go, you want to check and make sure that the marks you can see are consistent with each other to that pad, which I'm happy with that. And just thought I'd show you while I'm showing you the machine, as you want to change the pads. This one's just stuck on, magnet, onto that faceplate. So just put that one over there, grab the next one in the colour system, line it up. Bang, done. No screws, bolts, no changing wheels as such, just change the pad. When the pad runs out, buy another one. You get new plates in replacement parts to a point. Yeah, you can buy the shroud. You can pretty much buy the bit in parts almost and assemble it yourself if you want, so inclined. Don't know if it'd be cheaper, but yeah, off we go. Click the switch, and again, next pad, in, on up, drop on, off we go. Again, last one, pink pad, same colour as the cerium oxide, sort of, pinkish orange, yeah, got it. Little cerium is. And as always, I finish off on the leather pad, a bit of cerium. Okay, what a nightmare. Off the stick. I didn't want to stay together for some reason. I said, I'm out of here. What's that crack? Thought it might be a problem. Was hoping. You hold your breath, you hope you don't get that far into the cut. And find out. So I'm going to tidy this edge up. Probably make it into a teardrop. Anyway, well, that was a bit of a roller coaster ride for me. Challenged me a little bit. And here's what we've ended up with. So here's the first one. It's a little tiny triangle. A little bit of colour, like that blue. It's all ready to set. It's fairly clean except for that little bit, but you can't see that from the top, so it's irrelevant. A little teardrop. Try not to get them fogged up before I show you. Some great colour in that one. It's just fogging up too quick. Little oval out of the two ovals that I had. It's hard when it gets cold at night. Yeah, it's got a bit of a misty patch that end, but another opal in the mist, colour in the mist. There's still some nice colour in there though. I thought I'm not just going to single out that, keep it big, still got colour. And this one, it's a nice little bright one, turned out really well. Again, fogging up, condensation. So yeah, nice little stone, that one. Cleaned up rather well. So, what happened to the big opal? Oval. Big oval opal. Okay, here it is. So, as it cracked down the center, we learned to cope. And so this piece, I think, will be designated since it's thinned out really well there. And if I cut that right down to that, the wispy bit of colour there, it's a nice stone, but I'm thinking the whole thing is a doublet. Try and at least salvage that much of it. Be a nice little doublet. So that's designated for a doublet. Now this piece turned out really, really nice. It's different shape than an oval, but beautiful colour. All over it. Really gorgeous stone, that one. Come a bit closer. Wax on the bottom. Whoever sets this needs to be just a bit careful. It does have that fracture running through it. And I dread to think where it's gonna come out. But if all's done gently, that should be a nice little stone for a little while. Nice little pendant. Gorgeous. So there we go. That's how you cope with a malfunction. I reckon we'll chuck them on the scales quickly while we're here. I'm keen to see what a couple of those weigh. Zoom back out. Start with this one. I'm pretty keen to find out. I reckon it's got to be around the 2 carat mark. Oh yes, there you go, 3 carats. Gotta be happy with that. This one, that'll just under a carat maybe. Oh, dead on a carat. Nice. This one will be a couple of carats. Yeah, we'll call that 2. Carat. Yep. Half a carat if that. Oh yep, half carat. So there'll be 2 carats there. No, carat and a half. 2.5. 4.5. Oh, nearly 5. 7.6 carat. 7.6. Hang on, 7.5. Yeah, we'll just go for 7.5. So there we go. Not too bad, 7.5 carat. Green, blue, purple. It looks a lot more green in person, this stuff, than the camera's picking up. There we go. Might even do a low light shot of this. Slow motion, give you a better look. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll hopefully catch me live on the weekend. Cheers.